Hello everyone and welcome back to another session of Bloodborne PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Boom Hammer, yet another weapon that was added in the Bloodborne DLC. This one, I'm not gonna lie, I expected a bit more from it. It's not a bad weapon by any stretch of the imagination, don't get me wrong, it's a very good weapon in fact. I was just hoping for a little bit more, but I'll get into details on that later. So, getting started. The Boom Hammer. It requires 14 strength and 8 skill in order to wield. It has an A scaling in strength, an E scaling in skill, and a C scaling in arcane. The physical base damage of the weapon is 180, and its fire base damage is 120. And for me, the attack rating is just around 700. So, when I say that I expected a bit more from this weapon, I, was hoping that there'd be a little bit more to it in terms of its moveset. The reason I say that, it's a powder keg weapon, clearly, and it looks all well and good, but, I'd hoped there'd be, more than one set of attacks. When you're using this weapon, it is identical to the Tonitrus in the fact that your attacks, your secondary form attacks, are literally just a buff. Difference being, with the Tonitrus, at least that buff stays for a few seconds, for a little while, as opposed to this where it's just for one attack, which, of course, is not an ideal situation. If there was going to be a buff, I would prefer it to be exactly like the Tonitrus and stay for a time period, not until the next attack is done. And, it's a bit of a hassle having to go back and forth, buffing every single time you want to. And, of course, you don't need to buff, but why would you not want that extra damage when there's no other side effect to it? Well, that said, there actually is another side effect to it, but you know what I'm getting at, guys, you know what I'm getting at, and I'll explain what that side effect is shortly. So let's get started talking about its first form and the base attacks that it has. First off, its R1s are going to be some slow sweeping R1s. They've got some decent damage to them. They're nothing overly special. Second set of attacks with its R2s, again, slow, wide sweeping R2s. Again, nothing terribly special. It's pretty much just smash them this way, smash them that way. It is what it is. Really, the moveset is pretty predictable, and it's honestly just a big hammer on a stick. That's exactly what you would expect from it. And I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with it being a big hammer on a stick. It's not a bad thing. Its charged R2s are pretty fun. They are very slow, but extremely strong overhead smashing attacks. There is no follow-up. I'd like it if there was, but there isn't one, so again, the moveset is a little bit limited in that respect. So overall, there's nothing terribly special going on with its attacks. They're just hammer smashes here and there. And that's not a terrible thing, don't get me wrong. It's just, I was hoping there'd be some more variety to it when you got to your second form. But instead, as I said, it's literally identical to its first form. So, basically, when you're using it, ideally you want to get as much damage as possible. And because of that, most people, myself included, will buff on a regular basis. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is a con to doing this. The second form, of course, does add the fire damage, and it does add a slight AoE around the attacks, around their hitboxes. But all weapons break quicker and use twice as much stamina when that buff is on. It's a minor detail, but in this game, in these sorts of games, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, etc., stamina management is a major factor. In Bloodborne, not so much, because stamina comes very easily with how much stamina you can get at an early level, but even still, with the way dodging is in this game and how commonly dodged your attacks will be, and how often you'll need to dodge in turn, it's something that you still do need to pay a lot of attention to, and having your attacks deal twice as much stamina drain to your stamina bar, well, it's not really a good thing. Other than that, though, the weapon is slow, it's easy to dodge due to its speed and telegraphing. There's no real second form to it, so, that's definitely a considerable con. There's only one other weapon in the game that has that as an issue, being the Tonitrus. But at least with the Tonitrus, it's not a single second form per attack that you have to go into your second form again, over and over and over. It's not good because of that. I don't like that a lot. It's, that's just my preference, my opinion, but it is what it is. I don't like this thing because of that. I like using it on occasion. It's a fun weapon to use, and it can deal some good damage, but overall I feel like it's lacking in a lot of situations. Also, I feel like the hitboxes on this weapon are sometimes oddly specific. So with some of the attacks, it'll look like you're hitting, but you actually won't be. You'll be slightly offset because the attack comes at a slight angle and just grazes through their hat or something like that. I've had that happen a lot. Also, when you're doing your transform attack to go into the second form, that attack, despite looking like it's got long range, is actually a very short range attack. The weapon goes out farther than the hitbox does. So again, that's something you can't rely on all the time, because even though it looks like you got him, chances are you probably were just out of range. Meanwhile, its R2 attacks have a longer range than it would look like they do, so I don't know. The hitboxes on this weapon are not exactly proper, for lack of a better term. So, other than that, now that I've gone through all the cons, I should probably do a pro or two here or there. Basically, it's a very damaging weapon, and the free aim unlocked, going with an unlocked R2 can be very good because it is such a wide swing. So you got that, and that's all well and good. But other than that, I really don't have many pros for this weapon. Yes, it does a lot of good blunt damage, and you can get some really good blood gems on it because of that. But at the end of the day, your moveset's very, very lacking, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. So, it is what it is, guys. Other than that, I don't really have much else to say about this weapon. The next showcase is going to be on the Bloodletter. Following that, hopefully I will be doing the Cost Parasite. If not, then I will be redoing the Beast Claws to get that done, showing how it works with the new rune. Other than that, though, guys, I've got nothing else to say, so I hope you enjoyed this video, found it helpful in one way or another. There's another fight left after this one. It's going to be starting right about now, so stick around for that, guys. It ends up being pretty good. It's relatively short as well. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.